We try to bring you high-quality educational and informational content every single day. Why do you think the price is having such an anemic time? The news story of the hour. Jump onto the chart. Is this the beginning of a massive financial unraveling? We got to add a little addendum to the show map today, so we start here on the daily. Now, we've been looking at the RSI on Bitcoin's daily chart for the last several days. It always has been, but it's been increasing over the last 50 years since the government has been bigger.
Hey guys, what's going on? Jebb here, and in today's video, we are going to be discussing the concept of how this Bitcoin crash down to $20,000 and the bear market that has led to this point will make millionaires. As someone who is now in their second Bitcoin bear market in the last 5 years, I have witnessed a Bitcoin bear market where Bitcoin would drop in price 85% from all-time high, from $20,000 all the way down to $3,000. And during that time, I saw some of the most valuable projects that are alive and well today get founded and grow during that time. The Cardano project was founded in 2017, grew extensively with its fundamentals in 2018. We saw Ethereum grow extensively. We saw Bitcoin grow extensively. We saw Coinbase grow extensively. We saw Binance grow extensively. We saw most of your favorite YouTubers, including this channel, these projects, these channels, these companies, these movements, these initiatives grew extensively during the bear market, and then they were able to flourish in profit once the next bull market came. So I'm here to tell you that this bear market that we are in right now, that this Bitcoin crash has led us to, is actually one of the largest opportunities that we have been presented in several years, I would say since the last time Bitcoin dropped down in a bear market to $3,000. What does that mean? Well, we're going to be discussing all of that and more in today's video and today's episode of Coffee and Crypto Live. We go live at 10 a.m. Eastern every single weekday, bringing you the latest Bitcoin cryptocurrency on-chain technical and fundamental analysis. We want to help give you all of the information that you want, but also that you need to know so that you can go forth and become profitable in the cryptocurrency space and make those gains, not just in your balance, but also in your principles and your wisdom and your life skills. So we are joined, as always, by none other than T.A. Tim. How you doing, Tim?
What is up, everybody? I'm excited about this morning. I see, we have like 500 people in here right now.
Boom.
We only have 82 likes, though, so we can get those likes up. I know some people might be watching the Fed news or the Powell being over at Capitol Hill. That's going to go on forever and ever, so we will cover all of that tomorrow. If there's anything interesting, we'll try to do something even later this afternoon with some shorts and stuff. But just so you guys know the price even right now, we're going to cover this in TA, is semi-responding bullish. But we watched a little bit before going live. It's been interesting so far. You definitely want to check back in tomorrow when we cover all the details of what that little report looks like going on over there at Capitol Hill this morning.
Yeah, Senator Warren is coming for his throat because it's all the Fed's fault. Now, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of things the Fed has done that they should not be doing, but I think raising interest rates is actually something they should be doing right now.
What's funny is one of the things that she did, we predicted this morning during planning meeting that there's going to be some leading questions, and sure enough, we were listening, and Senator Warren was leading Powell into saying that it's not the government's fault that we have inflation, it's Russia's fault. Yeah. So it's
all Russia's fault. You know, there's no blame taking here. I mean, we just spent $8 trillion in a year. What did we do wrong?
Yeah, Russia sent out stimulus checks for all of us.
Yeah, Russia sent out. Russia's the one that printed all the money. They're the ones that shut down the economy. They're the ones that did all that.
I'm excited after the show and after all those things come out to dig into what happened in that hearing. And we'll cover that all tomorrow morning, so you don't want to miss it.
That's right. Definitely a reason to tune in. Also, stay tuned because we got a very special show coming for you on Friday. Plan C will be on the show discussing some drama between FTX, its founder and CEO, and Celsius, and how a $20 million payout is waiting for anyone who comes forward. We'll be discussing all of that on Friday, so a good reason to stay tuned. Subscribe, hit that post notification bell because we got a great show lined up. By the way, I'm also not saying that Russia is guiltless in anything. I'm certainly not saying that. Want to be clear on that. However, I don't think you can blame all of the inflation on Russia. I just want to make sure I'm being clear on that. I'm not saying Russia is guiltless. We're also joined, as always, by Smay. How are you doing, Smay?
Well, I think you can really mostly link Russia to gas prices, if anything. But
Russia has had an impact on that.
Guys, I would like to say that I'm doing well, and I would like to read some green names because I'm doing well. So we have Groovy, Elliot Locke, Mitch Shaw, Crypto Alchemist, Matt C, Crypto Sec Guy, Groovy, Kasha Cats, Win Peoples. Lots of members in chat today. Sultan of Salt, Siobhan Golay, Adam Rourke, Who else we got here? I'm trying to find some more. JoJo, Agent Gold,
JoJo
Grand
the
Roofing
Crypto Hobo.
Incorporated. No, that's not. That's
Roofing
Bobo.
Oh, I'm sorry, Bobo. I knew
Grand
that.
Roofing
Thank you for the
Incorporated.
gift, by the way, Bobo.
Who else we got here? Jeremy Shorter.
Grand Roofing
Wow, all of you guys. And then somebody said, "Hey, Smainold, shout me out." That's Mike Lowry. Shout out to you. You're not a green name, but I just want to throw that in.
then
there.
We're feeling good today.
We're feeling good.
We also got somebody named Kalikulum in chat.
Kelly Kellum. Shout out to Kelly Kellum.
Shout out to Kalikulum, who is working tirelessly on Club DeFi, by the way. Shout out to Kelly for all the work he's doing on Club DeFi. Jokes aside, obviously, he's on staff. That's why we're joking about his name. We call him Kalikulum.
Speaking of Kelly, sometime next week, we're going to try to get him on the show for a brief portion to cover some on-chain stuff. And so you don't want to miss that. I don't know when yet, so we're going to keep you guys covered. Kelly and I are going to work on that when we get him on. But we love having Kelly every single day in chat.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kelly also shouted out a bunch of people he would like to have on the Coffee and Crypto Show, and he shouted out TechDev, and TechDev said, how the heck am I anywhere near that list? So maybe TechDev would come on. That'd be pretty cool. He's got 400,000 followers on Twitter. Shout out to TechDev.
Bring more people on.
Go follow him. He's got cool on-chain metrics. Anyway, guys, before we jump into it, I do just want to give you a very warm and special announcement. And that is, as you know, Club DeFi went into open beta on Monday, and I highly encourage you guys, #join the club, because we've been working on Club DeFi for over 2 years. We've got over 10,000 hours of experience collectively between everybody on this team who has worked on this project. Myself, Tim, Kelly, T-Shroom, Zach, who's editing all of the content, and our entire team, Shannon, our chief marketing officer, Jillian, our graphic designer, all of these different people that have poured their blood, sweat, and tears into this product, into this project is what it really is, so that you guys can have a place where you can come in community to learn everything that you need to know about trading, investing, and profiting, importantly, in the cryptocurrency space. I tell you the truth, the most important investment, the most significant investment you will ever make, even more important than Bitcoin, is your education in how to earn Bitcoin. A doctor doesn't make $400,000 a year because he's got some fancy tools. A doctor makes $400,000 a year because he spent 12 years in med school learning how to use the tools. The tools are freely available to you for the most part on TradingView to do your technical analysis, but if you don't have the mastery to understand how to use those tools and use the strategies to trade and invest in cryptocurrency markets profitably, they are worthless. A master carpenter with very, very basic tools will make a much more beautiful sculpture than somebody with the most amazing tools in the world but doesn't know how to use them. So I encourage you, invest in your education and your ability to use the tools first, and then as we teach you how to use those tools, you will be able to go forth and make a lot of money in cryptocurrency and hopefully make a big impact in the world. So check out Club DeFi. You can lock in your $30 a month price. Right now, we will never raise that rate on you. Links in the description. Let's hear that #Club DeFi represent in chat. But we're going to go ahead and jump on into our market pulse here. We got 3 articles to run through just briefly. Twitter board unanimously recommends Elon Musk's $44 billion takeover bid. The board said the proposed takeover is advisable and in the best interest of Twitter and its stockholders. Obviously, this would be a lot of money going to stockholders and also going to Twitter themselves, which would help with expansion. Twitter board, according to an SEC filing today, is unanimously asking shareholders at an upcoming special meeting to approve Elon Musk's $44 billion bid to acquire the social media giant. The official recommendation brings Musk's buyout of the company one step closer to fruition, mere weeks after the world's richest man flirted with exiting the deal. Definitely a lot of drama going on here, but it looks like it is moving forward to be compensated at $54.20 a share. Definitely make sure you guys stay tuned to this channel because we will be keeping you guys up to date with what's going on with this Twitter acquisition. This would be one of the biggest movements. We don't really know which direction yet, but it would be one of the biggest movements in free speech on the internet that we've seen in a very long time.
What I haven't seen is the update and what's going to happen with that price, because Elon pointed out, and it's not like it was breaking news to anyone, I think we all knew this, but the massive amount of bots on Twitter, is that final? Of course the board's going to want it to go ahead and close for $44 billion. Is it going to get there? Because I think even Elon was uncovering himself and the largest followed person on Twitter, I think that's Barack Obama, President Barack Obama, almost half, if not more than half of their followers are bots. So I think that's the other interesting thing. Of course, the board's going to say, yeah, guys, it's almost like, hey, he might be in cold feet, guys. Let's
cash out of here.
Approved. Let's get
cash out of here.
Let's get some money before he realizes we're scamming. That's what the report I saw. I'm not. Don't quote me on that. Let's double check that one. But I thought I saw that he uncovered evidence that there was almost, if not more than 50% of his and Barack Obama's followers were bots.
Holy cow. Okay, well, that is very interesting. Let's definitely see what happens over there. I think Twitter's a great platform, but this bot crisis on the internet has got to be solved. It is a giant conundrum, and Michael Saylor believes that Bitcoin is the answer. Go back and watch our interview with him. Let's go ahead and move on here. Crypto lender BlockFi gets a $250 million bailout from FTX. Revolving line of credit comes after CEO of FTX, that'd be Sam Bankman-Fried, said it should help struggling crypto companies. Question, Tim.
Yes.
Why is an exchange bailing out another crypto project?
We don't know, but we might know a little bit more this Friday when Plan C comes on the show.
Very
because I
interesting.
am sure that's going to be on the docket.
Very interesting that you mentioned Plan C and everything that's going on with Celsius, because last week, BlockFi rival Celsius Networks froze all withdrawals and transfers, citing extreme market conditions as crypto prices have plunged, and fellow crypto lender Babel Finance followed suit. Excuse me. So, they're bailing out BlockFi, and there's allegations being made that FTX has a bone to pick, or maybe an attack against. Now, that's an allegation, and it's not even my allegation. I'm just reporting on it. Celsius. Very interesting. Tim.
I thought I read something. Does FTX own BlockFi, or is there a different? I think
No,
there's
they don't. I don't believe.
There's definitely. I was reading something. There's correlated interest there for sure. So it could be, he is protecting his own side. But again, there's a lot of information there we will unpack later this week. So
Absolutely. Stay tuned for that Friday show. It's going to be dramatic. Binance.us eliminates spot trading fee on Bitcoin exchange. Exchange's users can trade Bitcoin for the US dollar, Tether, and other stable coins without spot trading fees. Interesting development for anybody who is using Binance.us. The move by Binance.us, the U.S. affiliate of the world's largest crypto exchange, effectively allowed customers to trade spot Bitcoin for the U.S. dollar, Tether, and USD coin, and Binance USD, or vice versa, without paying spot trading fees. Binance US claims to offer some of the lowest trading fees in the industry. The exchange currently charges a 0.1% spot trading fee on less than $50,000 of trade volume. It charges users lower fees the more they trade, according to the website. So that could be an interesting thing that's going on here. Maybe they're trying to make it easier for people to move in and out of stablecoins to help with liquidity, to help with people feeling like they're able to pull out, get on the sidelines, and get right back in without having to pay fees. Or they could just be trying to keep themselves competitive, as a lot of people are leaving the cryptocurrency space, and they want people to leave their platform slower than all the other platforms, and maybe grab some of the people that are leaving other platforms but aren't necessarily leaving the cryptocurrency space. Looks like a bid to stay competitive, in my opinion, and that's how the free market works, so more power to them. Anybody who's using Binance.us, definitely something that you could take advantage of. And by the way, I'm not sure, but this picture right here, I'm not sure. It doesn't say it right here, but I'm pretty sure this was taken at Bitcoin 2022. I remember seeing this. So, yeah, there you go. We actually stopped by the Binance US booth.
I recognize the pillar in the
I was
background.
going to say, I recognize these pillars too. I think this was at Bitcoin 2022. We were here where this picture was taken.
Oh, yeah, look at the badge.
Yeah,
look at the
I
badge
know.
on the guy's neck.
Oh, it is. It is
Yeah.
Bitcoin 2022. You're right. How about that? Small world. Anyway, we're going to move on here and jump into some technical analysis. We have some very interesting TA that we're going to bring you, and some of it was brought to our attention by some people over in the Club DeFi Discord. Tim, would you mind kicking us off?
yeah, so this morning I want to give them shout outs. I'm going to go to our Discord right here. Oh, well, I had the picture up. It was from Alex Green, and I think there's numbers behind there, but I'm going to go ahead and say
981.
Alex Green. So he asked this question this morning: are we setting up a head and shoulders pattern right now on the hourly chart? And it's funny because actually last night when I was doing office hours, which have been phenomenal by the way, someone asked if we were entering into an inverse head and shoulders pattern. So going over the chart real quick, I want to start off, by kind of talking about the inverse head and shoulders pattern. Then we'll move to Alex's question about the head and shoulders pattern. What they're looking at right now, of course, is they saw this left shoulder develop. Of course, we could call that a head. Are we going to create a right shoulder? Well, something we need to cover. We covered with them in office hours, and I want to make sure anyone else who's learning technical analysis should know this. Do not count your chickens before they hatch, and that's going to apply to the head and shoulders pattern as well. But there's a little more details to the head and shoulders pattern we'll talk about here in a second. But right now, we have not really created a good inverse head and shoulders pattern. The other thing is, while technically by definition, we could continue and say this is a neckline that's acceptable. It's got about a 10% angle to it. I don't like that. I like for the necklines to be a little more even than that. So as far as inverse head and shoulders pattern is happening, I do not expect that to play out, but we'll keep you posted if for some reason that changes at all. But I actually want to go down as far as the head and shoulders pattern. I think it'd be easier and better to go down to the 15-minute chart to see that develop. And this is what we see happening, and we're trying to rally even as we go right now. But this one is a little bit cleaner. Why? Because we have our left shoulder, we have our head, and then look at this nice and almost even neckline happening. That's a lot cleaner. You love to see it be a little more flatter than that. And currently, we are working back up towards this $21,000 level. Look at that volume starting to pick up. I was going to comment on volume here in a little bit, but volume is picking up as Powell is speaking over at Capitol Hill. We got to keep our tabs throughout the show on the price action. We'll keep you back and forth on what's happening there. But theoretically speaking, this price is starting to head that direction where we could create a very even right shoulder, in which case, let's say this plays out. Again, still, do not count your chickens before they hatch. We do not officially have a head and shoulders set up. For example, if this price were to just go ahead and shoot up, that would cancel head and shoulders pattern. If it stops right here and starts to keel over, that I think we could go ahead and make the call, hey, that's a clean right shoulder. Let's go ahead and apply and see if this could play out. If it does play out, let's say our price does end up coming up, whether it stays currently or whether it comes up 21 or even a little higher and starts to come back down, this is how we would predict potentially where the price would play out. We have our neckline set up. We go to the top of the head, down to said neckline, and then we extrapolate this over to a potential place where we could break it. This would give us a price prediction of about 18,300, staying within that range, coming back down to our previous low that we had here a couple of days ago back on the 18th of June. It is a little too early to confirm and say for certain, but I do want to give a shout out to Alex. Great call, great look. Again, it's too early to say for certain, but it is something to keep our eyes on as we watch the price develop. Again, there's reasons to think we're going up. What I was going to say earlier, Jebb, and I'll pass it back over to you. What we're seeing right now, until this little mark right here with the 15-minute chart, and let me zoom in just a little bit, we had a lot of boring price action. Going out to the hourly chart, I'm going to go hourly chart. The volume had been really boring. And yes, it's not necessarily high right now just yet, but it does look like it is increasing right now. I'm interested to see what the price goes for, because we talked about this on office hours as well yesterday. Volume is confusing. Volume has two different use cases. Sometimes volume is communicating to us a reversal pattern, and sometimes volume is communicating to us a confirmation. I do believe on the hourly chart and down, we are starting to see a bullish trend. Not long term. You go out to the daily chart, we are very squarely still in a downtrend. Even I would say on the 4-hourly chart, I would still call us in a downtrend on the 4-hourly chart. But going down to the hourly chart, this is where we're starting to potentially see a more bullish trend start to happen. And could this volume we're going to see come in as the price goes up, is that confirmation of a move to the upside, in which case now kill that head and shoulders pattern? Are we going to see the price go back to what I was talking about a little bit yesterday, where potentially, if we go to our linear chart, we start to hit our head on former support that we turned resistance? And I'll go ahead and draw that for you guys just in case you weren't here the other day. This support line we've been covering for so long and then broke through. Will we come back up around that $25,000 level, hit our head on that former support? We'll have to see that play out. But those are the two things I'm looking at right now, and I want to see on these smaller time frames, does volume confirm this uptrend, or is this simply people don't know what's happening, but it's something exciting happening in the news, and then Powell's going to, I don't know, he's going to say something totally bearish in that report, and all of a sudden the bottom's going to drop out. We will have to see.
Yeah, I think you're right. We will have to see on that, because what happens during this hearing on Capitol Hill with Powell up there being grilled by Elizabeth Warren, I almost said Elon Musk, being grilled by Elizabeth Warren, is it could very well yield some fruit. Jerome Powell and Elizabeth Warren both know how to go toe-to-toe with people in the ring on C-SPAN and on national television, but it is still possible one of them slips up and says something that they shouldn't, or unveils some information that wasn't already unveiled, or says something that has a major impact on markets. So there is quite a bit of uncertainty right now in the markets, and this kind of goes back to the theme that we were talking about yesterday. I don't think most people, and I would speak for myself, and I think for Tim here, when we say that the bottom is probably not in.
Yeah.
The absolute bottom is probably not in. Now, yes, Bitcoin does have an uptrending trading channel right here, but this trading channel also technically has a price target, as you can see, if we draw it right here, that would drag us all the way down to what? $14,000. So I'm not too confident on the price of Bitcoin right now. Let me just give you an example of what I would need to see if I was going to say Bitcoin was going to go back up into a major rally that would go into a bull market. Let me just put this out there. I don't think that's about to happen, and you're going to see why. I would probably need to see Bitcoin get above, let's say, $48,000 and stay up there for like 3 or 4 months before I could say confidently, okay, Bitcoin's going back into a bull market. This was the bottom. I have no confidence that the bottom was in yet. So how do we get confidence that the bottom was in yet? Well, normally during bear markets, what you do is you have a massive drop and you're like, okay, there ain't no way the market's going to go lower than that. That's what we saw happen in 2015. That's what we saw happen in 2018. That's what we saw happen during the pandemic drop. Of course, that was a black swan event. That wasn't necessarily a bear market, but it was a major bottoming. people are like, okay, there's been a gigantic drop. Clearly, we're not going to go lower than that. And what we normally see when we see a massive drop is we see a pretty quick recovery and some bullish exuberance come back into the space in a big way. We saw the same thing happen here on this drop. Dropped all the way down to $3,200, bounced up to $4,400 within a week. That showed us that there was some exuberance. Back here in 2015, we dropped like a rock all the way down to $166, rallied all the way up to $320 within the span of the next 2 weeks, and we got a lot of confidence that, okay, the bottom may have been in right there, and you have to have some time to ascertain whether or not that was the actual bottom or not, but you normally see some more confidence, and we're not seeing any confidence right now. I can say with quite a bit of confidence right now, the bottom for Bitcoin is not in. So when we're seeing volatility and when we're seeing Jerome Powell on Capitol Hill and when we're seeing all of these things, I personally do not see the bottom being close. What I do see is that there is a rounding going on right here, and there is a head and shoulders formation. As Tim said, it's not played out yet, but it is starting to look like a head and shoulders formation, and this could be the start of a rounded top formation. We talk about this in Club DeFi. We used to talk about this in CT2A. It's very important that we keep this in mind. Overall, just the general direction of the tops and bottoms has a lot of impact. So if we're not going up here, setting a new higher high above 21.7, we should expect the same trend to continue that we were in before this little corrective movement, and that would be straight to the downside. So as we talked about, and as Smay and I both believe, based on our predictions that we made yesterday for the end of the week, Bitcoin's probably going to be down by the end of this week. It would be surprising to me if we saw a major rally here, considering we didn't see a major rally 3, 4, 5 days ago when we started pushing down to these levels in the first place. I do think that we're going to see a pretty big drop here, and we're going to see that drop continue for the next month or so. I don't think the bottom is in, and I think, as I said, I would speak for Tim and I both on that. But Tim, what do you make of that? Because the head and shoulders pattern might not be confirmed yet, but the idea of the top rounding out, even if it's not technically a head and shoulders pattern, still seems to hold a lot of merit, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we're going to watch play out. It has a lot to do with what is happening currently right now in Washington at Capitol Hill. But here's the reason why, because I agree with both yours and Smay's predictions at some point. This is the whole thing about our game. Those of you who have been following us for a while, every Tuesday we try to, it's a little game we have, predict and try to pinpoint and compete with each other. What is Bitcoin going to be sitting at 10:55 on Friday? And that is a very, very, very hard task to do. So most of us we usually agree with each other's prices at some point. The question is when. And I have just watched the market over and over and over again delay from what we thought was going to happen. So we think something's about to happen, and that probably will end up happening. However, it doesn't happen as soon as we thought. And so what I'm kind of looking at right now, even on the market, I'm looking at the charts. I think on those smaller time frames that we are currently in a bull trend. I think that there's so much sentiment in the market that the bottom's not in, the bottom is coming, and I think it's going to happen that way. But there's almost this thing of like, why would these companies be selling right now when all the retail investors are just convinced that we're going down? There's a manipulation still in play. There is a continue to create weak hands, continue to fake them out, shake the market. And so while there's such a strong sentiment that the price is going to go down again, what I see happening is a continuation to the upside, not massive. I'm not expecting us to jump back into the 30s, but I think we could surprise some people and see us go back up to 22, 23, and again, maybe even 25 as a fake out, that then all of a sudden they'll get some of these people who are just convinced we're going down to maybe start shifting their tune a little bit and say, oh, maybe Bitcoin's rallying. And then as soon as the sentiment switches from bearish to bullish, now's the time to drop the prices. So I'm not in any disagreement that we're going to go back down to 18, 17. Again, I'm kind of on record of saying my target's sitting a little bit closer to 12,000 as a final bottom. But I don't think it's yet. I think that price is going to be more delayed than a lot of people are expecting.
That could happen. The only thing I would say to that is that we are in the middle of a capitulation event that we haven't seen in, honestly, years. This is not even comparable to what we saw happen in April and May of 2021. This is even worse than this. What we're watching right now, the last time we saw this happen was the pandemic drop. That was a fundamental. We also saw a drop like this happen in November and December of 2018. Both of these drops, as you can see, in the span of 32 days, dropped 50%. In the span of 26 days, dropped 60%. Well, now we're looking at, ever since about March 31st, we've dropped 65% in 82 days. And frankly, it doesn't look like the bottom's in because we haven't had that bounce. So yeah, I think we will see a corrective bounce, but I would be cautious about waiting for that bounce, because if we do, what we might be saying is that, okay, the bottom's in. Because, for example, if we were to plot where we are In this market, on the bear market of 2018, I feel, or 2014, we're probably right here. We've had a massive drop, massive correction, 60% in 90 days, for example, what we saw back then. Then, yeah, we maybe had a little bit of a bounce, but we ended up going back down in a major way. I don't know where we're going to get the strength to go back up to 24 or 25. Where would you say that would happen from?
I think the strength is, again, the fake out. I think that there's so many people sitting right now in a no trade zone that all of a sudden now the experienced traders, the whales, the institutions, they come in for a profit-taking opportunity. You put it in right here, the price goes up. Right now there's not a whole heck of a lot of shorts in the market right now. There's also not a whole heck of a lot of longs. We're kind of sitting in a no man's, no
trade zone.
No trade zone, like a no man's land. The bears and the bulls don't really know who's fully in control. While we know on the longer time frame the bears are, and we think they will regain, there's a lot of questions up in the air right now from the news standpoint. So what I see happening is kind of a, man, when everybody feels like they're on the same page about the direction of the market, more often than not, the price does the opposite. It's when there's confusion and then massive stories break that we see price dips. Like the two more recent dips, if you go to my charts, May, these big dips that we've seen, this one that came down all the way to the higher 20s, and then this one that came down and touched all the way down to 17,000. Both of these were on the back of terrible pieces of news about the current inflation and interest rate of our economy. Right now, I'm not saying we're going to go back down there again, but there's no news sitting right now on the docket that would say we have to go ahead and go back down there. There's a lot of sentiment saying we're going back down there, but again, that's very much retail sentiment. I believe that there are fake outs happening at all times, and so it's one of those things that I could be wrong. I absolutely could be wrong. We could go ahead and go back down now, but I think that there's just too many people expecting that to happen immediately. What needs to happen is, and what the institutions want to happen, what the experienced traders who love to steal supply from people, they're gonna fake you out. They're gonna want to pump some FOMO into the market, and you got to get some price action to do that. So they're okay with those bears. They're okay with letting off their short positions. They're okay with that price rising a little bit, and then watch them start to enter those shorts as we start to hit the 22, 23, 24, 25, and then boom, right as everyone starts to get this false sense of hope, that's when the price actually does that dip that we were expecting the whole time.
Yeah, and that is true. We could see that. So, guys, tell us in the chat, how do you think the next couple of weeks are going to play out? Are we going to see a bounce and a rally up to $24,000, $25,000, or are we going to see an immediate drop over the next month? Not so much immediate, but a much quicker drop down below $20,000 and bottom out finally for this bear market. Love to hear your thoughts on that. We're going to go ahead and jump into some super chats. I don't know if we have any super chats, so we're going to read some regular chat, and then we'll jump into our discussion.
Yeah. Let me scroll through here, and while we're doing that, Smay, what are you thinking about the current like situation count?
Well, based on my analysis, we are really not doing well in terms of likes, guys. It's looking pretty bearish. So what I want you guys to do, what I want you guys to do is go ahead and put us in a bull flag pattern and like the stream, so that we can actually now become a bullish outlook on the likes. I would really appreciate that. I feel like I don't get to talk to you guys as much anymore. Right. And this is my opportunity. I really want you guys to know that when you like the stream, it makes me happy.
There you go. So, I'd say the view to like onto metric is...
My happiness is hinging on whether or not you hit the like button during the show, at least.
Yeah, we had a question. We did have super chat that just came in, but I'll ask this question first, and then we'll jump to that super chat. Someone was asking what your thoughts are about the Cardano price, because of course it stalled a little bit on this news that the Vasil hard fork is actually going to be delayed a month. It has stalled. The more bullish momentum that Cardano had, meaning it had been dropping at a lesser rate than other altcoins, it had actually been outperforming everything else. It seems like it just got back in line. Like with this 10% drop that we saw yesterday in almost the entire top 20 market cap, Cardano went ahead and matched it, except for Tron. Tron is the only one. That's a different discussion we can have at some other point. Tron only dropped 4% from that little peak that it had, so Tron's doing something different. But it seems like Cardano has fallen back in line. Jebb, what are your thoughts about Cardano? Well, is the bottom in on Cardano, or do we see a new bottom with that?
Well, I think you will see a new bottom. Potentially go back and backtest about 40 cents, maybe 38 cents, where it went to on May the 12th. The thing with Cardano, and this is what we were telling people all throughout the drop, ever since, September 12th of last year, I think it was, when it topped out, or September 1st, September 2nd, something like that, was that Cardano was going through its drop earlier. It was going through its drop earlier than the rest of the market. It's currently down 85%. Bitcoin is threatening to go down 85%. If it did, it would be at $10,000. It would have to drop another 50% to get down to where Cardano currently is, retraced from all-time high. And I do think that Bitcoin and Cardano deserve their all-time highs. Now, maybe they need a lot more retail in the space. Maybe they need a couple more years of adoption, a couple more years of development and regulatory clarity to actually get there. But I do think that they are worth their all-time highs and a lot more. But we need to go through healthy consolidation and correction. Part of the reason that you haven't seen Cardano move to the downside as much in the last 7 days or so, is that Cardano has already dropped like a rock. It can't go much lower. It's so much closer to the bedrock. Bitcoin is still digging. Cardano is just like, yeah. Have you ever taken a shovel and just smack some concrete with it? It makes this horrible sound. That's kind of like that's what's going on Cardano right now. You've basically almost hit the bedrock on Cardano. That's not to say that it's not going to go lower. It could. Right. As we've talked about this concept of bedrock, you can dig through bedrock. It just gets harder and harder and harder the lower you go. So I'm not going to say that Cardano has found its bottom. I do think its bottom will ultimately be somewhere above 25 to 30 cents. But I do think that it has bottomed out. It has already dropped significantly more than Bitcoin. And so because of that, it doesn't have as far to go as Bitcoin does.
I think another thing to point out is some of the people that have hated on Cardano were showing charts of what the transitions that happened from the percentage of institutions that own Cardano to the level of retail investors and all these different things. And I'm not saying the bottom on this metric is in either, but potentially did Cardano go through the weak hands and get rid of the weak hands just a lot faster than the rest of the crypto space? Because that's also going to be our point when we come down to the bottom of the Bitcoin market. And you can probably put that for every single altcoin. We will go down as far as there are still weak hands in the market. This is a severe bear market. This is going to get rid of everybody who has weak hands. When we get rid of them, that's when the price will find its bottom. And the question is, did Cardano do it, or is it a lot closer than maybe some of these other altcoins and Bitcoin itself? Okay. We did have a couple super chats come in, so let's go ahead and get these ones, though. iChart Daily, that's a good name, said, love the vids and the TA. Keep them coming. We definitely will. That's what we do.
Thank you so much, Joe.
Jojo was the next guy.
Thank you so much for the first super chat.
iChart Daily.
Thank you, iChart Daily.
Jojo said, thank you, CryptoJebb team, for the encouragement and showing us how to think in order to achieve financial sovereignty.
Amen.
I see you all as very genuine. More blessings and strength to this channel.
Thank you so much, Jojo. We appreciate that. And if you guys want to participate in everything that we offer, that JoJo's talking about here, you got to be part of Club DeFi, because you're only getting a snippet of what we offer as a brand and as our project here on YouTube. So make sure you join Club DeFi and get access to everything JoJo's talking about.
And that, just so you guys know, that to me is the biggest compliment. If someone says, man, Tim and Jebb are right a lot, that feels good, but I don't really care about being right. What I care about is that our channel and our complete company allows other people to think for themselves and to grow their education and them be right. I don't care if I'm right or Jebb's right as far as this business is concerned. I care when you guys are right. So we will be wrong from time to time, but it will be genuine. And hopefully, again, that emphasis on how is more important than what.
Absolutely.
Last one I see here, Nico Wild. I'm not quite sure what he is talking about here. I'm going to read it.
I'm not sure either.
But it says imposters.gg. Imposters Genesis Aliens floor price seems good for getting one before the beta passes come out. Okay.
Cool.
Thank you, Nico.
Thank you for the super chat,
I don't know what we're talking about right now. But
no fathomable clue what you're talking about there. But thank you for the super chat. If you care to explain in chat, we can probably try and look at that, though. So thank you for that.
That's all we got.
Guys, if you have not joined the #1 project in the cryptocurrency space for education, you are missing out. It's called Club DeFi, and it has now launched in open beta. Full launch will be at some point in the future. And with Club DeFi, you're going to be getting access to dozens, nearly hundreds of videos educating you on trading, technical analysis, and a vast multitude of more planned courses, talking about everything from introductory, talking about everything from investment, talking about financial management. We're going to be covering all of these things in Club DeFi. It's a beta, so we have about 100 videos in here so far, but there will be thousands in the next several years from some of your favorite creators. And Club DeFi is going to educate you on cryptocurrency, and it's going to be the best place in the entire world to learn about cryptocurrency, not just through video formats, in videos that are designed to be only about 5 minutes long so they can be bite-sized. A lot of people would talk to us in CT2A. They'd say, Jebb, I love this video on TradingView, but it's 32 minutes long. When was the last time you had 32 minutes to spare? Good point. So now our videos in Club DeFi, on average, there are a few that run longer than this, but on average are about 5 or 6 minutes, so that they're bite-sized. So you can pull it up on your phone and say, okay, I'm sitting here waiting for the subway, or I'm sitting here trying to get a sandwich at Subway, or I'm sitting here here I'm trying to fix a subway because I'm a mechanic, wherever you may be. You have 5 minutes. There you go. Watch a video, learn about Club DeFi. Join our Discord server. Go read some of the testimonies over there that people post. We have an entire section in our Discord server where people do their introductions. I'll show it to you. We have so many introductions over here on my screen. You can see a lot of them right here. All of these introductions are people sharing their experiences in cryptocurrency and everything that they've learned through Club DeFi. If you want to learn how to trade, invest, and profit in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, number one, you're on the right track, because if you don't invest in your own education, if you don't invest in your own disciplines, if you don't invest in your own skill sets, then you're never going to be successful in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And if you do, you got lucky. I remember one of our subscribers walked up to me one time. I was in Publix, and he walked up to me. He's like, Jebb, oh my gosh, I can't believe I see you here. I turned $400 into $470,000. I said, how'd you do that? He said, well, I put $400 into this random altcoin and it exploded. I said, well, good for you, my friend. You should count yourself lucky, because 99% of people would have just lost the $400. So make sure you're investing in your education so you can now turn that into 4.7 million and do something great with it. The point is, it's very hard to get lucky, but it is replicatable when you educate yourself and you teach yourself how to do these things. Join the club with clubdefi.com with the link in the description box down below. But we're going to go ahead and jump into our discussion segment here. What are we talking about? Well, the point that we want to kind of get at here is that we want to make sure we're approaching the cryptocurrency market the right way. So, as I make my point, let me just read you the headlines of 3 different interesting articles here. Australia makes a major decision: exclude Bitcoin and Co. from foreign currency taxes. I'm not going to read through this whole article. We're really making a meta point here, not so much a point about this article, but this is pretty cool. The government of Australia has provided official confirmation that virtual currencies would not be subject to tax procedures applicable to foreign currency transactions. That makes it a lot easier for people to trade Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in the nation of Australia. So anyone who's living in Australia, that's a pretty big deal for you. Looks like Australia is trying to come up with creative ways to help cryptocurrency thrive. In Wyoming, we see that Wyoming's Black Hills Energy inks first deal under new blockchain tariff. The utility said attracting more blockchain companies to the state will increase tax revenue and create jobs. So a very creative thing that Wyoming is doing here. They're trying to bring blockchain. They've been doing this for a long time. Wyoming's actually working with the Cardano project on building GovTech, which is government technology using cryptocurrencies. They're trying to bring companies into Wyoming so that they can grow in Wyoming and so that they can help to grow the economy of Wyoming. Very creative way to be utilizing Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies during the bear market and preparing them for the bull market. We also have something over here having to do with Afropolitan. They raised $2.1 million to bring Web3 to the African diaspora. As you can see, it says right here, looking to right historical wrongs, build a global digital community with real-world impact, Web3 collective Afropolitan announced it had raised $2.1 million in pre-seed funding to advance its vision of a digital nation for the African diaspora. So what they're doing here is that they're trying to raise money for a cause that they care a lot about, and they're doing so with cryptocurrency, even though they're in a bear market. That's a very creative way to use cryptocurrency, even when it may be down extensively, so that they can, go forth and fund what it is that they are trying to grow. Tim, what would you say is the theme that kind of connects all of these stories here?
I think the theme that connects them is exactly what every single person, not only on this stream, but that got into crypto, needs to get back to. We need to get back to where crypto is not about dollar signs on our eyeballs. It is about a purpose. Crypto was created for a purpose. It has use case. These stories are really cool because maybe there's going to be money made from these situations, but the purpose of them was not to bring profit or to bring money. The purpose of them was to fulfill something that was lost and to fulfill a purpose that will better these people. And I think that it's so easy, and I'm going to confess this happens to me all the time. We're a price analysis channel. That's what we specialize in. We help you guys kind of analyze the markets, and it is so that you can create your financial sovereignty. To create financial sovereignty, you got to make sure you're handling your money correctly. However, that should not excuse us from going back to the beginning, going back to the basics to remember why. Because results and profit should be following why. It should not be our main reason. Our main reason is our why. Why do we get into the crypto space in general? And the answer is because we have a very broken world. We have a very broken financial world. We have a very broken social world. We have a world filled with centralized authoritative figures that are corrupt and that end up making this a worse place to be, and it makes it a very difficult place to be. the point of cryptocurrency, the point of decentralization, the point and the reason why we all came and got excited in the first place, or at least I would think that this was the reason we got excited in the first place, was for the potential purpose of this being a solution to a lot of different problems that we see throughout the world. Financially, yes, absolutely, but also relationally, socially, and spiritually. These are going to give people back power. And what I really loved, especially in that African story, is that this is an ability for people to take back culture, to take back their ability to connect with one another. Of course, you guys know this all the time, and some of you guys are going to get upset at me as I say this, but why do we love Cardano so much? It's a purpose-based project, and they're going heavily after the continent of Africa, because they realize that this is a continent. These are places where identity and banking and control over their, not only their finances, but over their social structures have been stolen from them from corrupted centralized systems. The purpose of Cardano, the purpose of crypto, is to take that stuff back away from centralized systems and put it back in the power of the people. And this is a story of someone saying, hey, it's not about profit. It is about people. It is about solving problems. And that's what I believe that every single person watching the stream, I really hope when you guys walk away from the stream, you go back and you do some soul searching and you do some, why did I get into crypto in the first place? Why am I so excited about it? Because right now I can tell you, I can promise you, if your reason is because of money, you are one of the weak hands. Because guess what? It's not a lot of money in crypto right now. People have lost a lot of money in crypto right now. The ones that remain, the ones that stay, are the ones that are proving they are here for use case and they are here for purpose. They weren't here just for profits.
We have a saying at our company, and it's people over profits. And we firmly believe that if we take care of our people, both our customers and our employees, then we will be able to actually go forth and do what we're supposed to do, which is, well, take care of people. You know, a lot of companies and a lot of projects try to take care of their profits so that they can take care of their people. But I say that instead of trying to take care of your profits so you take care of your people, pay mind to your profit. You need to be in profit if you're a company. That's wise stewardship. And if you read any part of Proverbs, you're probably going to find an example of where that comes into play. You know, that one of the things that Jesus talks about the most is wise stewardship of money. Don't get me wrong, it's very important. But we have to make sure we're taking care of our people. If we take care of our people first, then we will have profit that we can then go and use to take care of the people, which is the job of any company. It is not to make a profit. When a company thinks making a profit is its number one goal, it will eventually lose its integrity and fail. It might take 50 years for the company to fail, but I'll give you an example. Walmart. When Sam Walton died, the company stopped caring as much about people because Sam Walton was worth $40 billion or something crazy when he died, still drove around an old beat-up truck with his dogs in the front seat, and hated flying on a private jet. He had to be begged by his executives to buy a jet and fly all over the world so that he could go to all these meetings. He wanted to fly in business class. He didn't want to have all those fancy things because he said, no, I want to keep the money in the company so that we can pay our people higher, keep our prices low, because that's what benefits people. Walmart's forgotten that. And Walmart's got great prices, but at what expense? Walmart will eventually get beat by Amazon because Amazon has the tech advantage, but neither of them care as much about their people as they should. And that's a sad thing. If they were both caring about their people, they would be much better companies. And yeah, they might not make quite as much profit, but they'd be able to sleep with themselves at night. That's the consideration that we have in cryptocurrency. How do we go to sleep with a clear conscience knowing we're doing what's right? I love what we're seeing here because there is a grand opportunity that has presented itself in cryptocurrency. It's called the 2022 Bitcoin bear market. Through this opportunity, as Bitcoin is down, I want you to understand that your opportunities have not dried up. In fact, opportunities have only opened, if anything. These are 3 examples of how different companies and nations and governments are working to come up with creative solutions to making the most out of crypto. Because a principle I want you to walk away from this video with is that every successful project that makes a lot of money in a bull market, not every project, but most of them, were built and founded during the bear market previous. As I talked about in the intro, most of your favorite YouTubers, this channel included, was founded in the 2018 bear market. A lot of the cryptocurrency channels that got started in 2021, a lot of them very talented. Make no mistake, a lot of them are very talented, but they didn't have the lead time to be able to build the audience and really capitalize as heavily on the 2020 and 2021 bull market as they could have. You know, what you have to do is you have to position yourself in the bear market so you're taking advantage of the bull market. What am I getting at here? Well, first and foremost, guys, the stakes are very high. You know, the sirloin is at 30,000 feet, if you will. This is very important what we're going through right now. This bear market is going to be the time where great projects are founded. This bear market is going to be the time where projects that go back to the founding principles of crypto are created. And you could be one of them. You watching the stream right now, you could be one of them to come up with a creative solution to a real world problem using Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And by the way, what's it like working in a crypto company? Well, we're authorities on this. We have a crypto company. We have over a dozen people on staff. We're working on all kinds of products, Club DeFi. You know, we have coffee and crypto. We have our afternoon videos. We got a bunch of stuff that we offer. It's actually extremely enjoyable and extremely fun because we know that we're building something that matters, because we're building something that puts people over profit. And we have stood for that since the founding of this channel in my bedroom when I wasn't even 18 years old yet. That's what we have stood for from day one, and that's what we'll always stand for, is putting people over profits. Are there still large cap companies yet to be built in the cryptocurrency space? Yes, of course. Guys, we're in 1996 in the internet right now. Amazon's being founded right now. Amazon will be founded in the next year. Google will be founded in the next year. eBay is going to be here around the corner. Most of the big names that will be dominating this sector in 20 years have not even been created yet. And you could be the one to do it. And these three articles that we showed you are not so much about the articles and the stories themselves, although Australia having a tax advantage and Wyoming bringing in more companies through new tariffs and protocols, and Afropolitan raising money is great. That's not the point. The point is there are great things being built today that will have an impact in 10 years, but they are being built in the bear market because the people behind them realize it's not all about the frickin' price. And this is hard for us because we look at the price every single day. So when we say it's not all about the price, then we might think, well, wait a second. We do technical analysis. That's price action analysis. Yes, and that is important. But as I say in the intro of this stream, every single day, we talk about technical, on-chain, and fundamental analysis. We started out with technical analysis. I would say that we're pretty dang good at on-chain and fundamentals at this point. And the reason that we have made sure that we are able to bring all of that to you is because if we only look at the price and we forget the fundamentals, then we'll be so far away from the founding principles that we will have built the Pharisees of crypto, and we will have forgotten the heart behind what crypto was built to do in the first place, which was bring financial sovereignty to people like you. So my point, number one, during a bear market is a wonderful time to get creative and come up with an idea and found a crypto company. Maybe come back in 3 years after you've, made $1 million, $2 million, $10 million bucks. And more importantly, vastly more importantly, have made an impact on 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 people's lives, 1 million people's lives. Come back to us in 3 to 5 years and say, hey, Jebb, I remember watching this stream on June 22nd, 2022. You said this, go found an organization, go start a project, go build something in the name of the principles that crypto was founded on. I did that. I made an impact on 473,000 lives, and now I'm back and I want to partner with you. That would make us jump for joy. That's what we want to see. I challenge every single one of you to look for opportunities in this bear market because you will not find a dearth of them. You will not find a lack of ideas to start in cryptocurrency right now. But can you overcome the fear, and do you feel led and called to it by the Spirit of God? Those are the things to ask yourself. If you do, there are opportunities, and I would encourage you to take advantage of them. Tim, what are your thoughts on this?
And I think you wrapped that up really clean. I think I wrapped it up really, really good. I think something we could expand, though, is even talking about Bitcoin. What is the purpose of Bitcoin? Because there was a really interesting article that came out. Do you want me to go ahead and dive into that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm gonna pull this up. Edward Snowden. Ever heard of him? He's a pretty popular guy. If you do not know who he is, go do some research.
I know somebody who's interviewed him.
You do?
Yeah, Naomi Brockwell.
That's true. It's true. That's true. Maybe we
somebody send this clip to Naomi. Naomi, help us get Edward, please.
Well, so Edward, this is a really interesting article because he's been coming out and talking about crypto here recently. And again, the reason I'm bringing this up is because he is talking about purpose. And I'm going to highlight a couple of these places. It's not a very long article, so I'm going to actually read a good amount of it. But something that he talked about is he renewed his faith in cryptocurrencies. He said it has not faded, but he believes that the crypto winters separate the scams from legitimate users. Great. This is sentiment that we've talked about on the show before. Many other shows have talked about it as well. He's quoted as saying, the only people that remain are the people that are either using these networks functionally or the people who are there for the long term. Now, this is interesting because he goes on to talk about how he actually, in case you guys didn't know this, all the stuff that he did, that he came out, because he was a former NSA and CIA contractor, and of course he's not standing very well with the U.S. government because of his whistleblowing, but he actually used Bitcoin to purchase a lot of his security systems. And what he talked about with Bitcoin, the reason he loves Bitcoin so much, he said, it still works. Whether the price is $60,000 or whether the price is $6, it works. Despite these benefits, Snowden has raised alarm about Bitcoin's disastrous privacy. He also is wary of treating cryptocurrencies primarily as investments. So this is what we're talking about. A lot of people are looking at crypto as investments and they're forgetting the purpose. And this is what Snowden is kind of referring to. He said, everybody's talking about getting rich and getting things going to the moon. How is that going to happen if no one is actually using these things functionally? And they work well. They won't work better every year. Okay, they work better every year for the purposes they're actually intended for. He goes on to say down here, I want to scroll down. He raised alarm about attempts to centralize digital payments. We'll talk about that a little bit. He wants to foil these efforts by returning to the spirit of crypto, the pioneers who pursued purpose over profit. That mentality could transform other pervasive systems. He goes on to talk about Mark Zuckerberg, but he quotes, "We need people to recognize that these systems do not exist without their participation, particularly those who are specialists. Any resistance will require sacrifice, but in crypto, the current crash provides an unusual opportunity to reset a sector." And here's something that you might have heard from a channel that you watch daily. It is like a forest fire.
Oh, where did we hear that one before?
When the ground has been cleared, things will grow again. And I wanted to kind of open this up, Jebb, because what he's even talking about, it's really easy when it comes to, you can go off my screen now, Sam, I don't know if you already did. It's really easy to talk about altcoins and their use case, and are we using them for that case, or are we using them as just price analysis tools or to gain value? But even Bitcoin, Edward Snowden goes in detail. Are people even using Bitcoin for its original purpose? So I'm going to start right there with you, Jebb. What are your thoughts about the purpose of Bitcoin, and are humans actually using it for that?
The purpose of Bitcoin intrinsically is to take financial sovereignty out of the hands of central governments and authorities, put part of it in the hands of trustless code that is unhackable and indestructible, and the other part of it in the hands of the individual, because the individual understands how to use their money better than any other person. That is about as short as I can make the definition of the purpose of Bitcoin. Now, that has a lot of fruit to it. First and foremost, it does mean that, yes, we should be spending Bitcoin on the daily. And this is something I've actually talked to you guys about during bull markets. Haven't mentioned it in a while because, well, we're not in a bull market. But for anybody who is working in Bitcoin, it is a good idea, in my opinion, to spend some Bitcoin at the tops. I'm not saying necessarily at the bottoms. What I am saying is that if you're up 500% on your Bitcoin, or you're up 1,000% on Cardano, or you're up 480% on your Ethereum, a good way that you can dollar cost average out of your cryptocurrency is to sell it through buying things. Let's say you want to buy, back in the day, a year and a half ago, you'd say you want to buy CT2A because it was still an active product back then. Then you could have done that. That would be a way to dollar cost average out of the project. Instead of using your US dollar, which is down 20% in the last 12 months, you could use your Bitcoin, which is up 400% in the last 12 months. It's a no-brainer to me, and that shows just why we could be using Bitcoin. I think it is actually pretty bad and detrimental for the space to never spend Bitcoin as a currency. That being said, I think we should probably keep the majority of our Bitcoin in the other major use case for Bitcoin, which is its investment. Because Bitcoin was designed to be a store of value. But the dollar was originally supposed to be a medium of exchange and a store of value, wasn't it? You're supposed to have both. That doesn't exist right now on any fiat currency in the world. There's literally not one. The US dollar is outperforming everything, and it sucks at it. So Bitcoin, I think, can be used as a very valuable tool for the sake of being a medium of exchange, but also for the sake of being a store of value. I think that we should start looking at Bitcoin, especially during a bull market. Now, in a bear market, I understand hibernating a little bit and saying, okay, Bitcoin's down 60% this year, US dollar's down 20% this year, maybe I'll spend my US dollars. But just look at the last year and say, what's down, what's more profitable for me to spend? Right now, your US dollar will be more profitable for you to spend than your Bitcoin. But I don't think there's anything wrong at all with spending Bitcoin in profit on things. It's a good way to cycle out of your Bitcoin, take advantage of it, because then what you're doing is you're keeping your cash active so that if there is a drop, then you still have a bunch of cash on hand to buy back in lower because you didn't use your cash to pay for goods and services. You used your Bitcoin, which was in profit. So I think Edward is right. Excuse me. We all know just how valuable it is to buy and hold Bitcoin starting in a bear market. I don't think a lot of us understand the power in cycling out of it and using it as a medium of exchange, especially when it is up and when we're in profit on it. So that'd be my take on that, Tim. What would you think?
This is something that I had been wrestling with a little bit, and I'm even wrestling with it now, and I don't think I have a final answer. I don't think I don't know where I'm completely going to sit because, of course, right now, just being even financially responsible, you shouldn't be spending Bitcoin on things right now. At the same time, though, and I'm going to throw this out there, and we'll cover this in other videos and other streams, Do we not think of this as a revolution? Do we not think of the Bitcoin space, the cryptocurrency space, as a revolution to take back control from centralized systems? I think people forget sometimes that revolutions require mass sacrifice and a lot of pain and a lot of suffering. Show me one time in history where a revolution started and it did not bring much pain and sacrifice to the people who started the revolution. For example, we are here in the United States. Back in the 1770s, when our forefathers decided it was time to revolt against England, you don't think it was scary for them to say, wow, we're about to go up against the #1 navy in the entire world, the richest, most powerful country in the entire world. We are outgunned, we are outmanned, but by gone it, it's about time. At what point are Bitcoin holders going to do the same thing? At what point are we going to say, you know what, it's going to take some sacrifices. It's going to take some times for us to say, if we actually want to see a change come to our world, if we want to see it come to our countries, our cities, our towns, we are going to have to make some sacrifices and we're going to have to start doing things. And the thing that Edward Snowden is talking about is if Bitcoin is the future of money, if Bitcoin was put in place, the purpose was to fix the monetary woes and the centralization of authority and money, because guess what? Authority follows money. Wherever the money is, that's where the authority is. I'm not saying Bitcoin has to be the currency, but we've got to come up with a solution, and then we got to start acting on it, even if it means sacrifice, even if it means it's not makes the most sense at the moment, because that's what a revolution is. And what Edward Snowden is talking about is, guess what? As long as we keep talking about the potential of Bitcoin, but we do not utilize it for its potential, nothing will be solved. We can keep saying store of value, store of value, store of value. Guess what? Right now, Bitcoin is being used and treated like an equity. That's great. When the market's good, when the NASDAQ is up, when things are going, Bitcoin will be up. But if we were supposed to be fighting inflation, if we were supposed to be changing the monetary systems, Bitcoin's not doing that right now. And you want to know why? Is because people are using it for profits. They are not using it for purpose. And we've got to get to a place where we start sacrificing and we start actually becoming and creating the change we want to see in the world. And again, I'm still wrestling with that because, again, it doesn't make any financial sense to start using Bitcoin or cryptocurrency to pay for things right now. But we got to start biting into that at some point. If you own a business, start receiving Bitcoin. When it's opportune, I don't know what that level is, but we got to get to a place where we start being willing to both pay in crypto and receive crypto so that we actually start showing the powers that be. We are a revolution that cannot be stopped. We do not care if at moments it is painful for us. We are here to change the future of how currency is treated. And at some point, we got to go ahead and start that. And people like Snowden, I think, he's already starting on that path. We're going to need to see people come behind him and jump on that boat as well if we're going to see that change.
Preach it, Tim. I love it. I think that leads us perfectly into our super chats, and we should start with Kelly's because it's a good tie-off for this point here.
Yeah, see, Kelly just said the biggest suffering felt in a revolution is by those that stay on the losing side.
Absolutely, and we all know who's going to lose, and it will be the U.S. dollar. Bitcoin is going to be victorious. I'm not saying the U.S. dollar is going to be destroyed. I mean, Britain still exists. They just lost. But yes, Bitcoin is going to win this battle. Well, it might not win this battle, but it's going to win this war.
We got a couple here, and they're not going to follow a lot of the same reasoning, so I'm just going to work through them. Dr. Fuzzy Eyeball, who's now been a Jebbi Youngling for 9 months, said, Tim, have you seen Muriel I think that's Schuyler's Twitter? I have not, but I'm going to have to look that one up here after the show, so I'll do that. I'm going to highlight that one instead of getting rid of it. Nico Wild again said, what do you guys think about imposters.gg? So again, Elio's game based on Among Us sounds like some Club DeFi type stuff.
Man, I love Among Us. That game is so much fun.
You know, Nico, I didn't know what you were talking about at first. I'll look into it when I have some time. I can't promise that'll be today or tomorrow, but I'll try to keep up with that. Tom Wilkes said, my daily rant about not stressing over the bottom. We will be happy we bought at any price at this point. Don't stress the bottom. Plan for the future. Keep up the great work, team. Cannot agree more, Tom. That's absolutely the truth. Crypto Set Guy, Jeffrey, now a member for 10 months as a Jebbi Padawan, said, you guys should get an interview with Adam Welsh, the guy that bought a Subway sub with Bitcoin back in 2013.
Yeah.
That Bitcoin today is worth almost, he says $1,000. So I think it'd be more than that, though, I'm pretty sure it can be more than $1,000.
That would have been worth more than that.
He is subscribed to your channel.
Oh, really?
We'll have to.
How about that? That'd be great.
Adam Welsh.
Awesome.
Representing, if you're here today,
Shout out to Adam
say
Welsh.
something.
Feel free to send that clip to him.
Nico Wild again said, didn't realize y'all didn't know Imposters.gg is a play and earn game. The initial NFTs to participate there are out there in beta coming up in only a few weeks.
Okay, I got it right here. It says that it's backed by Epic Games. That's very interesting. I want to look into whether or not Epic Games is getting involved in NFTs and play to earn, because if that's the case, that's a big deal. That's a really big deal, actually.
Yeah. Last one from Nico Wild. He said, amen, consider the dollar Fed coin. And then here we go. Dr. Fuzzy Eyeball once again. This is the last one I see, at least. I just enjoy watching Tim pronounce difficult names. Not a real... Yeah. Well, you know.
Yeah, that is pretty funny.
Okay, so that was the whole thing. It was a ruse the whole time, Doctor.
It was a ruse the whole time.
Wow, you got me.
Well, guys, if you enjoyed today's show, make sure to hit that like button. We got 765 likes. I know that we can go further than that. Let's get up to 850 before we wrap the stream out. And for everybody who's not joined Club DeFi, I would encourage you to jump on board, because the club is growing every single day, and we want to make sure that we are helping you guys to learn more about the cryptocurrency space through all of the different features that we offer. Nearly 100 videos right now, with new content being dropped on the monthly, sometimes on the weekly. We got new content coming out all the time from the different people that are teaching over there. We've also got a community Discord server where you can go and fellowship and communicate and build community with all of the different people in Club DeFi and learn and grow from each other. We're very active over there on the Discord server. There's also there's also office hours where our different educators, such Tim and Kelly, will get on board and will answer any of your questions. There are also one-on-ones, which are going live relatively soon. They might even be live right now. And if you want to book some time with Tim, then you can do that on the website. So make sure that you check all of that out. Links are in the description box down below. You are missing out if you're not in Club DeFi right now, and I don't want you to do that. So make sure you invest in your education with the best place in the crypto industry to do so, with clubdefi.com. You can find the link down below. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and are there any final thoughts before we wrap it out, guys?
I think that's it for today, man.
Ooh, is that it for today? Make sure to follow us on all of our social media at CryptoJebb over on Twitter and Instagram, at CryptoJebb Official over on TikTok. But before I go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling. Got a real good feeling.